Appreciate everybody being in attendance here today. I think we got off to a good start last week. We certainly were excited to open at home. I know there's been a history here of late of opening on the road against BCS opponent. So opening at home against an in-state FCS school I thought was really good. Had a great crowd. I thought our defense was dominant in its entirety, so we certainly were excited about that. Coach Trott did a great job with the defensive kids, and they really played well. Offensively, we kind of showed some flashes of what we're capable of doing, but really we're not as consistent as we needed to be. We had way too many penalties in the game, most of which were on offense, and we turned the ball over 3 times. So that, cannot continue, and it certainly was not part of our makeup a year ago. Defensively, though, we did take the ball away 3 times to kind of offset our turnovers. And I did think, though, that, the guys that we expect to perform well and to make plays were able to do that during the course of the game. Looking forward here to this week, just another great challenge and a greater opportunity to go down to Carter Finley Stadium and play against the North Carolina State Wolfpack. They got off to a great start last week with a very, very impressive win over Louisiana Tech, 40-14. Great way for Coach Doran to begin his tenure there at North Carolina State. We'll certainly have our hands full. But we're excited and very much looking forward to the challenge. At this time, I'll take any questions here from the media.
Hey, Coach Rocco, usually after week 1, you have a fairly decent handle on what your opponent's going to do offensively. Maybe that's not the case this week given their personnel situation at quarterback and their suggestion they could go a little wildcat. What are you expecting?
Well, I'm expecting them to try to run the ball down our throat, be quite frank with you. There's somewhat of a history with Wisconsin offense and Northern Illinois offense to certainly have balance, but to be able to demonstrate a dominance, a physical dominance. It's very much a part of their makeup. I think the quarterback situation is always of very significant importance, but prior to the start of the Louisiana Tech game, they didn't name a starting quarterback till Thursday or Friday. Matter of fact, the actual flip card for the game did not depict the actual starter of the game. So they've got guys they've been working back there. They've rotated some guys back there through camp. 3 quarterbacks played in the game. And I do know that the transfer from Colorado State has got 21 starts at Colorado State. So I think they're going to try to run the ball down our throats, play action pass, give us a variety of formations to deal with, go fast tempo, try to run as many plays as they possibly can. Try to get these backs off to a good start and into our secondary so they can get big chunks of yardage. Personally, I said it earlier, I'll say it again here today. To have played them last week, we would have known even less about them. You can study Northern Illinois all you want, but, that's the first game that they went out there and played. And I think Louisiana Tech really struggled last week defending that offense. They were a half step behind with every formation, every shift, and NC State kind of had their way with them offensively. So at least we have those pictures to look at, jersey numbers that we can identify with. And I think we got to get our feet set on defense, get our eyes trained on defense, so we can see things and react to things to allow us to be in place, be in position, and then we're going to have to tackle. But we got a good defense. We got good kids, and I've got some veteran players that are very much up for the challenge on both sides of the ball. Just got to hope we have enough of them, and then obviously we'll need some breaks in the game.
Coach, you stress the little things all the time, I'm sure. But when you're playing a team from a BCS conference, do you talk about mistake-free football, and do you stress it a little bit more, and just how much more important it is when you're playing a team like NC State?
Yeah, I think we do. I mean, I think that there has to be an understanding that any momentum swings that we offer to them by our own miscues, it certainly could lead to disaster. And, they're going to make their fair share of plays because of their talent and their skill level on both sides of the ball. So you can't be contributing to that. Their defensive line is very talented, the strength of their defense. And if they're tackling our quarterback or sacking our quarterback, we can't have a strip sack. All right, so you can't add to their momentum plays and the momentum swings in the game. And then also the kicking game becomes extremely critical because that is where a lot of momentum swings occur. And that is where a lot of big chunks of yardage occur during the course of the game. And, just looking back on this past week, that was an area I was pretty pleased with our football team, the development of our specialists. And, we're certainly going to have to perform well Saturday night.
Coach, in terms of your offense and the majority of the completions that Michael had were short variety, was how much of that was by design? How much of it was because your timing on the deeper balls wasn't quite there yet? And can that timing improve that much from week 1 to week 2?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly can improve that much from week 1 to week 2 because we had it, during camp. It's an interesting phenomenon when you watch these kids go out there and throw and catch the football. I mean, there are days where they are so in sync that they catch everything and everything's on a good spot, a catchable ball. And then there's other days where you're not quite in sync, and it doesn't always seem to be a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. The thing that I give Strauss a lot of credit for Saturday, and I kind of referenced this a little bit in the summer, he missed a couple throws early down the field, which really could have skewed the score. And then we had a couple drops, kind of uncharacteristic. But he was able to, complete the shorter balls, be a little more patient, take what they gave us. And then when Ben broke away there down the near sideline late in the second quarter, it started to break the game wide open. So, big, long catch and run play was really a pretty simple throw and catch. So we're going to have to get some throws down the field against North Carolina State in order for us to score enough points to win the game. And in order to do that, we're going to have to protect our quarterback. Obviously these catch and throws out of the shotgun, you don't have to be in protection as long. Mike catches it and throws it very quickly, releases very quick. He can get the ball out. But some of these deeper shots down the field, you got to protect longer, and that's a challenge against this talented NC State front.
Coach, you've been on staffs and FBS programs that have played FCS. You are obviously a head coach of an FCS playing an FBS. What is the approach from their perspective vis-a-vis your approach, and have you seen kind of that gap shrink a little bit the last few years?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more awareness out there that on any given day, any given Saturday, that if you don't play well, you get beat. And it is interesting. There are situations, and maybe not so much here at Richmond for me, but when I was at Liberty, we had some Division II games on our schedule. One a year. One year we had two. And so it's the same approach. So now I'm coaching the team that really is expected to control the game. But I know if we don't play well, and if we turn the ball over, that we can be in a dogfight. And we've kind of marched through that on both ends of the spectrum, like you had mentioned. I do know, though, that in these situations, there has to be a belief. You have to believe before you can achieve, and for us to go out there and to get the win. Not necessarily play well or say, hey, you guys did a really nice job down there, and but to get the win, there has to be a real strong conviction and belief in your program. And it takes a lot of things to have that composition, that makeup. Certainly a vision, certainly leadership, character. They got to understand on the front end that it's to win the game, you got to compete and fight for 60 minutes, and it's just a reality. And hopefully, that's the mindset that we offer here, and hopefully that the kids will respond in that fashion. Ideally, you want to have a tight game late. You want to be in a game where it's tight late. They have a very talented team. Coach has had a phenomenal run as a head football coach. Coach Doran has. They got a younger team. He's 11 freshmen. He played the other. Very talented. I mean, they're extremely talented. But he had 11 freshmen play significant roles. I think I read earlier that they had the fewest returning starters back in the ACC. So you'd like to be in a game late, that the game is still in balance, and that you have some guys in your program, seniors, leaders, that have kind of been in those situations before, and for every play we could make, it just puts a little more pressure on your opponent. So ideally that's what you hope happens, and in order to get to that point, you got to do a lot of things very well.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, do you think, so given that the experience that your team has compared to NC State, you mentioned how young they are, if there is a close game in the fourth quarter, do you think Richmond could have the advantage with having the experience, having the more seniors and whatnot?
Yeah, I think that it'd be hard to say we have an advantage, but I do think that in that situation, we've got more players that have played and started in more games over the course of their career, and everything you do as an athlete is in an attempt to gain confidence. And confidence is a function of demonstrated performance. So, if you've been in a lot of big games and you've made a lot of clutch shots, if you will, you're more apt to know it's your turn to step up to the plate. So, hopefully we'll have some maturity about us and find a way to get in that position. Then if we get into that position, be the team that has the ability to make the plays when they matter the most, and that's at the end. I say all the time, be at your best when it matters the most, and that's always in the fourth quarter.
Jacoby had 95 yards rushing. Has he achieved featured back status, or do you still want to see more in a rotation?
Yeah, I don't mind the term featured back or lead dog. How's that sound? We'll call him the lead dog. But it doesn't really change a whole lot in terms of, I think, how we move forward. We've got to have variety back there. I love Jacoby. This isn't a slight against him in any way, shape, or form. He loves to play football. On Strauss's interception, who made the tackle? Jacoby Green. I had him on the kickoff team last year. I had to take him off now because he's our starting tailback. I mean, he just loves to play football. He'll block, he'll protect, he'll catch, he'll run, and I'm very cognizant and very appreciative of that. But we have a couple guys who are a little bigger, a couple guys that offer a slightly different style, and I think it's important to continue to offer that to the defense. So you'll see, 3, 4, 5 guys carry the ball for us Saturday night.